Good morning, everyone. And what a week. And thank you all for sharing. I enjoyed hearing where you were. Yes, I help with people and more. I'm working primarily with professional and executive women, and I do help people get unstuck and really identify and get clarity on their purpose in life and moving forward with momentum on that purpose. And everything I do with my clients is about transformation, and transformation is a birthing process. And it's not unlike moving, George and Karen, and it gets so ugly before it gets pretty. And it's painful before it gets comfortable. And because it is, yeah. Listen, I don't envy you, but it is, it's part of getting to the other side. And this week was tough for me. I'm an empath, and it was tough to see our communities and our country and our world going through the change that I, like Shirley, am very hopeful about, and know is part of our birthing process as humankind and as human beings. And I do see our topic today, feminine energy and the balance of feminine and masculine energy, and using those energies for our greater good in the process. I see that balance in that process, and the feminine energy becoming stronger and stronger. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. And I want to share a little bit with you about my work, and then I value your opinion so much. I've been in the Sunday school class enough to know that you're smart, insightful, wonderful people, and I would like to have some discussion for a few minutes. So I'm looking forward to that. So today we're talking about mindful methods for integrating feminine and masculine energy. And I work with people on success and joy, and getting out of a place of pain, frustration, and stagnation into a place of purposeful momentum and joy and vitality, and how to do that. And when I first started this work about 6 years ago, I was working with a number of different women, and I was saying, tell me about the environment that you're in right now. And I was really focusing on work, and they were saying there's so much competition, and there's so much, external focus, and, we focus on win-lose results, and there's a real action orientation. We focus so much on getting things done, and on, a real ego-driven focus. And I said, well, what would you like? And when they talked about that, they would talk about, less data orientation, and, being able to get back to an experience that's more emotion-led and more of a worldview, less of an action orientation, more of an environmental focus, more of a contextual focus, being able to spend more time nurturing others and being in a state of compassion, and being able to spend more time, listening instead of talking, being in a receptive mode rather than always having to prove what they know by, talking and pushing information out. Spending less time in being independent, and spending more time in being interdependent. And as I was listening to them talk about the women that I was working with, I was listening to them talk about what it was that they would prefer and what it was that they were experiencing. What kept coming up for me was this concept of desiring to spend more time in feminine energy, while at the same time they were spending so much time in masculine energy. And these are women that were spending, who were working in, large manufacturing, or oil and gas or technology companies. But even as I dug deeper, I found that even women working in retail companies and makeup companies like Lancome and Estee Lauder, that from the outside, and my lack of knowledge, I would have thought maybe we're a little bit more female oriented or female energy and oriented, they were still very masculine. They were still very much characterized by masculine energy. And I just kept seeing this more and more. Over time, I decided to do a research project, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And I wound up interviewing 44 different professional women who worked in different industries and all over the world. I interviewed women from the United States, Canada, Latin America, Russia, China, Dubai, all over. And, you know, we all have feminine and masculine energy. We know that. And we know that at different times, we're at different levels. You know, we may be very much in our feminine energy or very much in our masculine energy, you know, or sometimes a little bit more balanced. And, you know, what I do is I work with people to find out, I help them find out what is the right mix for them, what's the right balance for them, and how can they overall in their lives really design a life that gives them the right balance for them with different activities and different exposures to different things. This is not a new idea. It's ancient. It's based on yin and yang energies. Some of our greatest scientists and leaders, this is just an example of two quotes, have recognized the need for, you know, mystery and beauty and romance. I like these two quotes. Albert Einstein saying the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. And in that quote, we see that blend of the two energies together. Stephen Hawking saying science is not only a disciple of reason, but also one of romance and passion. And there again, we see that kind of the tension of the opposites, or I like it to think of it even more as a mixture of opposites, the gray area of energy. So I work with people on leveraging their talents, whatever those talents are. And in over the last, 6 years of working with people, I've defined 5 different types of personality types where people are in different balance mixes depending on their feminine and masculine energy balance needs or desires. And preparer, director, energizer, balancer, and reducer. They don't, and those actually map to the elemental energies of water, earth, fire, metal, and wood. And because there's really ancient writings, or ancient writings and, you know, old research around the energies of each one of those elemental energies being having different mixes of feminine and masculine energy. And so when I was looking at feminine and masculine energy, and watch this because I'm pretty proud of this little animation. I mapped them all to the different types depending on the mix and the mix that each elemental energy had in according to its feminine and masculine energy. So if you're curious about how these map to the elemental energies, I'll share that with you. Preparer is water, director is wood, energizer is fire, balancer is and I am going to forget, let's see. And I knew I should have pulled this up. What do I have left? Balancer is metal. And what's left? Reducer. Anybody? What have I got? Let's see. Water,
Air.
wood. And air's not, thank you for that. It's not, I'm going to pull it up real quick. Let's see. So we've got wood, water, fire, metal,
earth.
Earth, thank you. So Earth is balancer, reducer is metal. And so we'll go even one more. Preparer is full yin, so the most feminine. Director is what we call new yin. So it's more yin than balancer. Balancer is even yin and yang, so even feminine, masculine energy. Energizer is full yang, so the most masculine energy. And reducer is what we call new yang, or kind of moderate masculine energy. And so when I go through the quiz, which I shared a link to in the chat box, and there was a link to it in the description for today in our Facebook group. When we go through, when people take the quiz, I talk with them about where they are in the scale and how comfortable they are with that, and whether they're feeling exhausted or energized and vital, and where we might be able to make some adjustments. So for example, I find a lot of people who do not feel they have enough feminine energy in their lives, because we live in such a masculine culture where, you know, getting things done and competition are highly valued. And I work with people on, you know, having more meditation in their lives, more journaling, more quiet time, practicing their listening skills, practicing understanding, practicing getting back in touch with their own creativity and their own inner voice, sometimes through movement activities or even, you know, exercise, getting back in touch with their intuition powers, their intuition, getting back in touch with the guidance systems available to them through their emotions. And so I have a 5-step methodology that I use with people to really help them get back in balance with their feminine energy, because that's usually what people have moved away from the most. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a minute, because I've been talking for a while and I just want to get your thoughts a little bit. Any thoughts or questions at this point? I help people become more of who they are. People might come to me because they want to change. And that might be and I've had bosses bring employees to me because they want to change them. But I may help them be more of who they are. The work that I do, I told a friend in January about what I do, and he said, it sounds like you help people who are trying to live with one hand tied behind their back bring that other arm out. And that's what I try to do. There are women and men that I know who work in wherever they work, who have been taught, coached, mentored to be tough, win, lose, competitive people. And there's a place and a time for all of that. And I get really energized by all of that when the time and the place is right. Side note, I have a friend who's a trial lawyer. Gotta have win-lose. No other way. But as I particularly find that as people grow in their careers, they need this other batch of skills that has never really been modeled or rewarded, and that is about emotional intelligence, essentially, compassion, sensitivity, building relationships, conflict resolution, win-win. And they've got to bring these other aspects of themselves out and learn how to use them. and so that they can have a full tool belt and really be fully who they are. And this happens usually around midlife. And I do see right now, I think now more than ever, we're seeing so much transformation. I'll go macro scale now a little bit. We are seeing so much transformation in our world. And now more than ever, we do need that feminine energy. We do need to be able to listen. We do need the compassion, the empathy, the ability to be receptive to change. And I think that that is part of what's going on. And I think that as, what do we call ourselves? Unitics? As unitics? we are part of the, we are leaders in the transformation movement. And that's why I was excited to talk about this today, because I see us as leaders, I see us as role models, and it's important for all of us to, number one, take care of ourselves by nurturing our feminine energy through our own practices of self-care, you know, our own meditation and, you know, journaling and body care and all of those things, so that we can be there for others. We can hear the messages, we can make decisions about how to best support our communities and our families and our teams and ourselves. And so it's an important message. When Jackie asked me to do this, it was, I don't know, I think it was January, and I had a spiritual trip planned to India that I was going to in March, and that was canceled. It was like second half of March, and that was all canceled because of coronavirus. When I told Jackie I would do this, and I would talk about my spiritual experience in India. And so that was the plan. But I think this is better in a way. So life happens for us, right? Everything is working out for us, because I think that now more than ever, we do need to embrace that balanced energy and our feminine energy around receptivity, compassion, and grace. I am curious, how many people got to take the quiz? The being able to see and think contextually and then bring it to, that is a feminine energy trait. And we need that in the world so much right now. We need people who can see broadly and then think, how do we apply that locally? And it's so important for moving forward. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear you talking about, you know, getting out of your comfort zone some, and also the awareness around balance and needing to kind of be over here some and then also be over here some, so that we don't get too complacent or too, you know, lose that energy in our lives. And by the way, Shirley, thanks for pointing out that people have questions. I really appreciate that. I put the link to the quiz in the chat box, so feel free to copy that and share it with your friends, share it with anybody can take it. And, you know, and if anybody wants to have a discovery session with me, actually from that same website, you can poke around and find where the discovery sessions are. If anyone wants to talk about, you know, doing more work with me or anything like that. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now with these insights, if you're having a stressful day or a frustrating day, or you're feeling out of sorts, what's something based on what you've learned today that you might do or think about to help you get maybe a little bit more balanced? And I'll put those two together. I think being aware of emotions and aware of our feelings and what that's producing for us, and where that's guiding us, Randall, that joy, that joyful emotion, and you bringing that up and that having that awareness that together, and all of that is introspective rather than, you know, focusing outward on the world. And that's part of that feminine energy, is going within. And so that's all, that all ties in really beautifully. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.